news coming in. The Kerala High Court has now dismissed 2 FIRs that were registered by the crime branch against the Enforcement Directorate. We'll try to shortly go across to my colleague Ashwin, who is getting us the latest on this. But this is certainly a big setback for the Kerala government. The Kerala High Court has now dismissed the Kerala Police's FIR. The police FIR against ED has now been dismissed. Let's go across to my colleague Ashwin now joining us for more on this. Ashwin, over to you. Please share more of the latest update.
Yes, just before the elections, there was this move by the state government to put the central government in a dock, and to also, which many of the political pundits were saying, is a posturing done to win votes and to get the confidence of the people. And in that, the action what they took was the state crime branch filing 2 FIRs against unknown officials of the Enforcement Directorate. Now, the 2 cases were filed based on a leaked audio tape of one of the prime accused in the case, Swapna Suresh. That is one. And the second one, a letter written by another co-accused, Sandeep Nair, to a district judge, which also was leaked. Now, the content of these 2 letters had tried to state that the Enforcement Directorate officials tried to falsely...
All right, stay with us, Ashwin. We are also joined by BJP's Tom Barakan over the phone line. Sir, your reaction to the Kerala High Court now dismissing 2 FIRs registered by the crime branch against the Enforcement Directorate?
The High Court decision is in line with the federal structure of the Constitution. These are national investigation agencies which are doing their duty on an all-India basis. And if the state government, in its fear of being entangled in this, tries to intervene in the investigation, block investigation, I think justice has been done.
Absolutely. Mr. Barakan, another small question with you. Do you think that this is certainly a setback to the Kerala government and in a way embarrassing for the state crime branch as well?
Yes, it is embarrassing for them, but it is also a message to West Bengal dispensation too. They have been into such activism against the CBI officials investigating and the blocking of investigation that is happening in Maharashtra too. So these are messages that if a central government and has respect for the federal structure, such activities is not encouraged by the judiciary, which is the guardian angel of the Constitution.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Barakan, for joining us here on Republic TV. We'll go back to my colleague Ashwin now. Ashwin, this is certainly embarrassing for the state crime branch machinery as well as the government. Take us through the case and what were the points and allegations that were being raised by the state government against the central agency?
Yes, there were two FIRs which were filed by the state. Number 1 FIR was based on a statement given by one of the civil police officer, a woman police officer in the state, who said she saw that the Enforcement Directorate tried to force a confession out of Swapna Suresh and tried to falsely give names of Chief Minister as well as other important people in the ministry. That was the first case. Now, the second case was about Sandeep Nair, another prime accused in the gold smuggling case, who had written a letter to the district judge in which he had, in the letter, had stated that Enforcement Directorate tried to force a confession out of it. Now, these 2 were the main, based on these 2 instances, the state crime branch had filed an FIR. Now, the High Court has clearly stuck its report out. It has clearly quashed these 2 FIRs because primarily it is on flimsy background. Because the people who, when Sandeep Nair has given in section 164 to the NIA, before that he had appeared in an open court 3 times and never has he given any sort of confession. Similar is the case with Swapna Suresh, who had also given section 164 to the Customs Department also. So in none of these proceedings, there were any indication by the accused saying that there was a forced confession that was the Enforcement Directorate, or for that matter, any of the agents were trying to make. So that is the main reason. It is on flimsy grounds that this whole FIR was made.
Going across to PC Thomas of the Congress. Sir, your reaction to the Kerala High Court now dismissing 2 FIRs that have been registered by the crime branch against the Enforcement Directorate?
In fact, it's a very clear observation or finding by the Honorable High Court. And I feel that it's a just finding, because there is no way in which the Kerala government or the concerned persons can register a case against the investigating agency against whom they may have problem. In that case, any accused person can file a case against the investigating agency at any time and see that somehow the matter is delayed, or at least somehow the matter gets lightened. So I think this is a perfect decision, and I feel that the government of Kerala is in a full difficult situation as far as these 2 cases, the 2 FIRs registered by them against the investigating agencies, ED, etc. Is no concern. And I have to just make a correction. I am not a Congress leader. I am chairman of Kerala, deputy chairman of Kerala Congress Party.
All right. All right, thank you so much, PC Thomas of the Kerala Congress, for joining us here on Republic TV. We'll try to go back to Ashwin now. Ashwin, we have gotten 2 reactions from certain prominent leaders stating that this was a concerted attempt to stop the central agency's investigation that has been on against certain close members of the Chief Minister as well. If you can share more details of what the court exactly stated today while dismissing.
See, the court has primarily quashed this entire FIR because it is based on flimsy grounds. That is number one. Now, I had spoken to the top officials of the Enforcement Directorate, who want to remain anonymous, and they have categorically stated the reason why this, the whole case, the FIR against the Enforcement Directorate wouldn't work, because there were too many contradictions in the report itself, in the FIR itself, and in the way what they had put up in front of while the investigation and all the details of the investigation. There were too many contradictions in it. That is number one. Second, when enforcement, and the last and important point is that the flimsy grounds, as well as it was a posturing that was done before the elections and to gain votes. That is what most people are saying, and that is the reason now the High Court has quashed the FIR based on flimsy grounds.
All right, thank you so much, Ashwin, for getting us that very important breaking update. We'll closely track all the developments later as well.